Big bonuses. In modern society, many businesses offer people bonuses. Some of them are small, but many of them are very large. And the question is this an effective way to pay people? And the logic is very simple and actually compelling. It says, you want people to work for you, give them a bonus, redirect their effort. You want them to work harder, give them a large bonus. You want them to work really, really well, give them a huge bonus. But is this really the case? If we spend a large amount of money motivating people, wouldn't it make sense to try and figure out if bonuses are really motivating people in the way that we think they are? So, to do this, we started with a simple experiment. We created an experiment with 6 different small games, and people got to play those in random order, and they got paid for those. And we had 3 levels of payment. Some people were offered what we call a low level of payment. Some people were offered what we call the medium level of payment. And some people were offered what we call a high level of payment. And here's what happened. For each of those games, we had a performance level. And we told the participants that if they reached the very good performance level, they would get the full amount promised them for each game. For the people in the low condition, it was about an hour of the daily wages. For the people in the medium condition, it was about a day of their wage, and for the people in the high condition, it was about a month of their daily wage. So it means that people in the low condition, if they performed every game well, they would get about 6 days of salary. People in the medium condition, if they performed every game well, they would get about 2 weeks of salary. And people in the high condition, if they performed every well at what we call the very good performance level, they would get about 6 months of salary. That's great. Now, there was also another level of performance which we call the good level of performance. And if they reached that level, they only got half as much. The people in the low condition got about half an hour of wage, the people in the minimum condition got about half a day of wage, and the people in the high condition got about 2 weeks of wage. And just before you worry about where are we getting all this money and how we are affording that, we ran this experiment in India. We ran it in a very rural place in India where people don't make much money. So this was not a lot of money in absolute term. In the low payment condition, we offered people 4 rupees per day. In the medium condition, we offered them 40 rupees per game. And in the high condition, we offered them 400 rupees per game. So this was substantial amounts for them, but something that we could certainly afford. And what happened if people did not even reach the good level performance? They got nothing. So, think to yourself, what do you think would happen? Right? The people in the high level condition, in the high bonus condition, could stand to gain a ton of money. They were our equivalent to executives who could get a substantial amount of money that would change their life only if they perform very well. In terms of the tasks themselves, we had a task that fall under the creativity framework. This is a task in which people had to fit different metal pieces that looked like a quarter of a circle into a shape. We had 2 tasks of concentration. One is the old Simon game that you probably remember, that is a sequence of sounds and lights that you have to repeat da 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 and so on, and the sequence increases every time. We also had a game in which people had to remember digits. We read to them a long list of digits, 7, 18, 15, 5, 7, 2, 1, 89, and then we stopped at a certain point and said, please recall the last 3 digits. And then we had 3 tasks that require motor skills. One was called Labyrinth, in which you have to move a small metal ball on a surface using 2 knobs. One was Dart Ball. It's like throwing darts but with a tennis ball covered with Velcro. And one is called Roll Up, or sometimes it's called Shoot to the Moon, in which you had to separate 2 poles in order to get the ball to move up a hill. So, people did those 6 tasks, and at the end, we looked at their performance. And we decided to look at their performance in terms of the proportion of actual earning from the maximum earning. Because after all, the people in the high bonus condition could earn much more. So we don't want to look at the absolute amount of money they made. We want to look at the relative amount of money they could make compared to their potential. So for example, if you solved one of the 6 games at the very good level, you would get about 1/6, exactly 1/6 of what you were promised, or 17%. So here are the questions to ponder. Did the people who were promised the high bonuses, the high reward, did they perform better? And how much better? And what about the types of games? Do some games have a different way of relating incentives and performance? Think about it and make your predictions.